everyone, my name's Jessie Alexander and I am the teacher community leader at Lalilo. And today I'm going to share with you all about how to get started using Lalilo. So first we're going to talk about what Lalilo is. Then we're going to talk a little bit about what students experience while they're playing on Lalilo. Then I'm going to show you a tour of your teacher dashboard, and then I'm going to show you how to sign up and get your class started. So Lalilo is a web-based literacy program, and it's designed for and by K-2 teachers. It offers differentiated reading and phonics instruction through lots of really fun and engaging lessons and activities. The goal of Lalilo is to partner with teachers. We really appreciate your feedback, and we're always trying to make the best product we can that's super useful for teachers and effective for students. When students are on Lalilo, they learn lots of different things. There's many different skills and content that's covered. The skills include letter identification, letter-sound correspondence, blending and segmenting, fluency, automaticity, and comprehension. It covers lots of content as well, including consonants, short vowels, blends, digraphs, trigraphs, sight words, word families, independent reading all the way through level M, and listening comprehension. Lalilo is based on a specific learning progression that's based on Common Core standards. So as students go through their lessons, they'll be cycling through lots of different skills and concepts. You can access the learning progression by clicking on the Resources tab and clicking on Scope and Sequence. You can see here it shows all the lessons all the way from kindergarten through first and then second grade. When students start out on Lalilo, we use a placement test to get everyone started. So first, in order to find where students should be placed on the learning progression I just mentioned, they'll start out with the Lalilo animals telling them they're going on a training adventure. And so to a student, it looks exactly like the rest of the platform. There's really no difference that a student can see. But on the teacher dashboard, you can see how they did on the placement test. When you look at your teacher dashboard, you can see here that there's tiles that are striped. Those tiles represent skills and concepts that students have mastered through the placement test. Then when you see a colored tile, that's where they need to be working. So a red tile would mean that they need help, yellow means they're still learning, and a green means they're doing great, so they've mastered that one. When students are on Lalilo, they do all kinds of fun and exciting activities. So they work on lessons and they complete and move through different worlds as they go. And once they are working and doing their lessons, they can earn badges, and then those badges unlock stories about animals and nature. Lalilo is super engaging, and we want to create a platform that is really exciting for kids to use. So after the placement test, students work at their own pace through the different activities according to the learning progression. So there's a variety of different exercises that they'll use, which keeps them engaged. So they might start on working on a letter sound and then move to a word family and then have a reading comprehension. So it keeps it all exciting and new. Lalilo is really focused on differentiation as well, so that students are actually working at their correct level of difficulty. So each lesson is scaffolded to meet the needs of individual students. And then Lalilo offers students lots of direct and timely feedback. So as a student is working on a problem or on an exercise, they'll, if they make an error, then they'll know right away and be able to fix those errors. So now I'm going to show you all about your teacher dashboard. So on Lalilo, you'll have access to a whole bunch of student data, and you can see on your teacher dashboard there's a bunch of different sections. So first thing that you'll see at the top of your screen is the activity log. So that's where you can see how your students are doing and what they've been working on, how much they've been working in Lalilo. Then you'll go to the top of your teacher dashboard has also the lesson clusters, so you can see what types of lessons and content your students are working on. And then below that, you'll see the list of all of your students and the lessons that they have validated or completed through their work in Lalilo. So you can see here, this student has these 3 tiles in the consonants cluster mastered, and then this one they need a little bit of work, and on this one they are kind of still learning, still working on it. When you click onto each of these tiles, you can see more information about the lesson and what's going on with that student. So like I was mentioning before, if you click onto an actual tile, it'll pop up and show you what letter or what lesson they're working on. It'll tell you a little bit about what they've been doing. And then if you click on it, it'll show you a new screen that can tell you a little bit even more detail about what they've been doing. And you can see, what they answered instead of the correct answer if they were having trouble. So sometimes you might need to edit a student or change some student information. So if you do that, all you need to do is click on the little wheel next to the student's name, and you can see that this edit students menu comes up, and you can edit them, change their name. You can transfer them to another teacher in your school if it's the end of the year and they're moving on to the next grade level, or you can delete them if they move away. In Lalilo, we are really big on student data, and so we do have reports that you can view. If you go to the print report button, we have two different kinds of reports. The parent report just kind of shows a little bit about what students have been doing and how parents can support them at home. And the teacher report shows you an overview sort of the last week on Lalilo for your class. It just shows 1 week at a time and what individual students have been working on. So another really cool thing about Lalilo is that you can actually have your kids work on it at home. So you might have it for homework or something like that as an extra practice. And in order to do that, you can invite parents by clicking here under the resources tab where it says invite parents. And then you'll get these invitations that you can just print and send home, and it's super easy. That way kids can keep working on Lalilo after school. So Lalilo has most of everything is available on the free version, but we do offer a premium subscription as well. So when you have a free version and you click on the sight words, word family, or comprehension data tab, you'll see this this message that says that those tabs require premium. And so if you are interested in subscribing for premium, then you can click here and there's a link to request a quote. And we work directly with principals and schools so that teachers don't have to pay out of pocket. So if that's the case, then we'll talk to your principal, come up with a plan for your school. Once you do have premium, then you have unlocked a bunch of extra data. And it's really cool because you can see how your students are doing in terms of each particular academic area. And then the dashboard looks exactly the same as it does on the phonics. You can see the stripe tabs that show that someone has mastered something because of the placement tests, and you can see which lessons they're working on. Another cool feature for premium users is the assignments feature. So if you click here on the assignments button, you can actually assign specific lessons to specific students. So if you're seeing that someone is needing a little extra practice in one particular area, you can assign that lesson to them. So all you do is click on the assignments button, and this list of all of your students pops up. You click which ones you want to work on it. So maybe even you have a small group, or maybe even your whole class needs to go back and work on something. You can select as many students as you want. And then you can click here and it shows you which area, and then it drops down to all of the different lessons that are available in that academic area. And then you click assign. And then once you've clicked it, then you can see that it's popped up here, and your students are ready to go. And then if you assign something to a student, then what will happen is it'll just give them that assignment for the next thing that they work on. And then once they're done with that, they'll go back to wherever they were in the learning progression. So now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to create your own class. So once you've signed up on Lalilo and you've said, I'm a teacher, and logged in, then this is what you will see first. And so you'll click on right here where it says add a class. And this part's really important, selecting your school. So if you are working in a school where there's other teachers who are using Lalilo, it's really important that you make sure that you clicked on the same school that they have. So let's say you work at a school called St. Mary's, and the teacher next door to you wrote ST period Mary's and you wrote SAINT Mary's, then now we have two different schools. And then if you want to transfer students later, you wouldn't be able to. So making sure to be on the same page with all the rest of the teachers in your school is super important. A lot of schools are already in our database, and so you can usually just click and find it. So then once you've chosen your school, then you're going to add your students. And so what you'll see when you first add your class, you'll see this big yellow box here pointing out this Add Students button. So you click on that button, and then you'll start typing in all of your students' names. Once you type in a student name, you'll click Add, and then it'll be added to the list. And once you've got everybody in, then you click Done. And then you'll see all of them in that list like you see on mine. So now you're probably wondering, what do I need to use for my students to get started on Lalilo? So Lalilo works on lots of different devices. It can work on a computer or a tablet or iPad. And then you just need an internet connection and a browser. We always recommend Chrome is what works best with Lalilo, but Safari works well too. And then we also recommend that students use headphones for Lalilo because there is a lot of audio involved. And there's also components of Lalilo where students can actually speak and have their voice recorded. And so if you have access to microphones, that's great, but that's optional. So if you don't, then you can still use it, but we still recommend headphones. So then the next thing is to log your students in, and you can't see that because my face is there, so I'll move my face. And so when you go into Lalilo, if you want to make sure that it's easy for your students to log in, you can kind of set them up ahead of time. So all you need to do is go to lalilo.com, then click I'm a student, enter that school code, which is back here. Hold, please. So right here on your teacher dashboard, you see the school code. And then you'll type that in with after you click I'm a student. And then it will go to your class, and then you'll see this page here where you can click on your specific student. The students can click on their name and get started. And then they'll get this page here, which helps them to navigate through the different worlds. And they just press play to start playing. So once you've set up every student with their school code and logged them all in, then you can just create a bookmark for Lalilo on your web browser so that it's easy for your students to access. And if you're using an iPad, you can actually click the share button when you're on the Lalilo web page, and then click add to home screen, and then it kind of makes it look like it's its own app because we don't have an app. Okay, so then the last thing is implementing Lalilo. So now that you've got all of your students in and everybody's ready to get started, when should you use Lalilo during the day? There's tons of options. So a lot of teachers use it for literacy centers. You can also do it as a whole class, and I actually recommend this when you're getting started just so kids can kind of get familiar with what it looks like, just on a smartboard if you have one, or on your projector, and doing a couple lessons together as a whole group. You can do it one-on-one with a student or during a small group intervention time. It's a great thing for kids to do during independent reading, and it's also really helpful for any of your kids who are language learners. Also, a lot of special ed teachers use it in resource rooms or in other special ed groups. It's great for in the computer lab or choice time. It's a great thing to add on to homework. It can help with guided reading or strategy groups. And then it's great for just extra practice for phonics, sight words, reading comprehension. Okay, so now that you have all the information about how to use Lalilo and how to get started and what it's all about, now you can create your own class. And when you get started as a teacher, I recommend spending a little bit of time playing as a student too, so you can really see what it's like for your kids. There's a couple different ways to do that. So one is that you can take a look at this box down here that says preview of the activities, and you can see all of the different activities that Lalilo offers. And so you can see all the different types of activities that your students will be doing. You can also click on Student View, and that'll take you to the list of your students' names, and you can click on Lalilo Demo, and that's the demo student so that you won't be actually doing anything in your students' accounts. And that's a good one to use for whole group lessons too, and it's helpful for you to get started. You can also see what the placement test looks like as you do that. All right, so thank you so much for listening, and I've really enjoyed sharing everything with you about Lalilo. If you have any other questions, please make sure to let us know, and we hope you enjoy. Bye.